You are listening to the Decluttering Club podcast, episode number 21. How to use your clutter to learn and grow. You are listening to the Decluttering Club podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Mueller, and it's my mission to equip women to declutter their homes, their time, and their lives so that they can cherish what truly matters. I am so excited about this topic today. I'm so excited about this episode because this is something that I've been thinking about for a really long time. And all of a sudden, all of the ideas are coming together in my head. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit of a story. We are in the middle of a challenge right now, and our challenges are fun and fast and furious, and we have thousands of people joining in. And when I first started doing bigger challenges, I was kind of scared. Like, what if things break? I have all of these people and they're all looking at me and they're all looking at my company, my business. And if something breaks or something goes wrong, that's a lot of people that are going to know that something went wrong or that we made a mistake. Right. So I had a pretty decent amount of anxiety and fear around doing these bigger challenges. And this past week has been probably like if you were going to pick a week with things breaking and things falling apart and things not working properly, the last 10 days would be it. That would be the poster child of things falling apart, right? We had emails that didn't go out. We had emails that went out like up to 10 times. So literally hundreds of thousands of emails are going out. It was just a problem with our system. It wasn't even our fault, but things were not working properly, right? And this happened on probably 5 or 6 different occasions. And it was challenging and it was hard. And part of me wanted to just, say, oh my gosh, we're not going to do things like this anymore. This is not worth it. There are so many people that are frustrated and that are angry or that are mad or they're calling me a spammer because of the things that have broken. All right. And what I decided was that, yes, things are breaking. And no, I don't want things to work out this way. But this is part of the deal. All right. This is part of the deal. When you want to show up, when you want to make an impact in the world, you are exposing yourself to the possibility that things may not work well. Right. And I am all in for that. I am saying, yes, I'll sign up for that, even though it means I'm going to have some hard times. I'm going to be uncomfortable. People are going to be mad at me, right? Because this mission is too important. Because what we are doing in the world is too important for me to let a few broken emails or, down web pages stop me. It's too important. I care too much about our community to let those kinds of things stop me. And also, this process of going through these problems, right? This is what builds character and what builds strength. And this is the same for you. Okay, let me relate this back to decluttering or to clutter. So if you have a house that is frustrating you, that you have let go of, maybe you had everything under control once upon a time and everything was just the way you liked it. And then life threw you a curveball and things started to break and it was out of your control. And, then you are faced with a situation that you did not choose and that you did not like. But you pulled yourself out of it, right? And you got back up and you got back to work, right? That refining process, that process of getting back up again and trying again and learning and growing, that is the process that turns you into the person that you are. Okay. And so, maybe let's say when you were 20 years old, like you had everything under control and you felt like you could do no wrong and you felt super confident and amazing on the top of the world. Right. And now you don't feel like that. But let me tell you, the person that you are today, and again, it doesn't matter if you're 20 or 50 or 70, the person that you are today is made up of all of those challenges that you have overcome and all of those struggles that you have overcome. And all of that learning that you have had to do along the way. And the thing about this, maybe this is bad news, I don't know. The thing is that there's no shortcuts to this place that we are right now, right? You can't read a book and learn these lessons. You cannot, skip to the end. There's no shortcuts. The only way to get here, where we are, with the knowledge that we have, with the experience that we have, is to live through it, right? We cannot go around. We have to go through. But the question is, what are you going to do with these lessons? How are you going to use them for your own good and for the good of the people around you? How are you going to take the hardships, and the mistakes and the things breaking? Maybe it's the illness, maybe it's the loss. How are you going to take that and use that for yourself and for others around you in your life? That is the question. And I believe we have an unbelievable opportunity if we're willing to accept it, if we're willing to take it. We have such a beautiful opportunity expressly because we have gone through these hard times, because you've had this clutter, right? Someone who's always had a perfectly neat house, right? They do not have the experience that you do, right? They have not had to figure those kinds of things out. So you're uniquely qualified, in this particular area of life. And I want you to notice that. And so this is not a judgment on you. This is not a flaw in your character. This is actually a beautiful gift. Okay. And I'm not saying that we would have wanted these things to happen. We don't ever want things to break. We don't want that loss. But if we have it, how can we turn it into something that is powerful and that moves things forward in our lives? And I think that's really the opportunity here. Okay. So I have some questions that I want you to ask yourself. As you're thinking about these ideas and as you're looking back and saying, how can I use this, the clutter in my life or, the state of my house or the hardships that I've been through, how can I use them for my own good? So here's couple questions for you to think through. Okay. Number one, right? What do I know now, right, today that I did not know back before all of this mess started? Like, what do I know, right? Have you ever talked to like a teenager or a young person and you try to tell them, I try to tell my kids, right? I'm like, no, you try to give them your life lessons and they don't want to hear it. They do not want to hear it. They think they're invincible. They haven't learned those lessons yet. And some of these things you have to go through. So what do you know now about life or about yourself that you didn't know back then? What are those things? This would be a really beautiful thing to spend a little bit of time meditating on or journaling, okay? Number two, where have I grown stronger? We do not get stronger unless we are tested, okay? You don't grow, if you think about fitness, let's say, and weight, and strength, you don't get stronger unless you go to the gym or unless you're using your muscles. Right? Which means you have to kind of suffer, right? You have to be tested. You have to work in order to get stronger. And so how are you stronger today than you were in the past? Maybe you now know how to do maintenance. That's a beautiful thing. Maybe you know how to say no when someone wants to give you something. Right? Maybe in the past you've said yes to things, and now by virtue of the situation that you're in and the decluttering that you have done, you have learned how to say no. No, thank you. I really appreciate that, but it's a no from me. That is not an easy thing to do, and that is a strength. Right? If you can just say no with quiet confidence, maybe you're still working on that one. Right? Maybe you have learned how to say no to yourself when you want to go buy all the pretty things. And in the past, you have done that, and now you are learning that you're happier and it's better for you if you tell yourself no, right? No, we're not going to bring that home. No, we're not going to buy that, because you know that the consequences down the road are things that you don't want to deal with. That is strength, right? And that is a valuable quality to have, right? So how are you stronger today? Another thing you can ask yourself is, what do I want to tell my younger self? Okay, so think back to that person that you used to be 10 years ago, 20, 30, however many years ago, before all of these troubles and mistakes and hard times came, right? What do you want to tell that version of yourself? What do you want her to know? Maybe you want her to know, hey, it's going to be okay, right? It's all going to work out. It's going to be tough, yeah, but you're going to figure it out. Maybe you want to tell her, all of those things that you're so worried about, they're really not that big a deal, and in 2023, when you look back, you'll realize, oh my gosh, I was so worried over those things and they really weren't that important. That is a beautiful perspective to have, isn't it? It really is. All right. So those are some things I want you to think about. I want to encourage you and invite you to spend a little time thinking about this. How can you use your clutter in your home, however it looks today, to learn and grow? What are the lessons that this is teaching you? And you can do this whether this is day 1 of your decluttering journey or whether you are on day 300 or more, right? There's always lessons to be learned. And when we take the time to take a look at these lessons, this is when we learn and grow. If we're not spending that time, if we're just doing the same thing over and over and over again, they say that's the definition of insanity, right? We keep trying the same old thing and we get the same results. But when we slow down, take a little pause, and think about what are the lessons here? What do I want to remember? And what have I learned? Then there is so much wisdom available to us. Okay. So I'm going to get back to work. I'm going to go and keep running our challenge. Fingers crossed, nothing breaks. But if it does, I know that we've got it and we can survive and we have the bigger picture in mind. That's what I have for you this week. I'll see you again next week, everyone. Take care. That's all we have for you today. If you enjoyed this podcast, would you leave us a review? It would really help us get the word out. To start your decluttering journey, go to thedeclutteringclub.com. That is declutteringclub.com. We'll see you next time.